Is it record? Okay. Yo, what's up, guys? Yo, what's up, guys? Ricky Buzz here, back, and I have my friend Lucas here, and we're here to break down the movie Eddington, directed by Ari Aster, which is a commentary, critique, art house featurette about the pandemic era of 2020 and how it affects a small New Mexico town and all the craziness that ensues. For all those who remember what happened in 2020, we experienced lockdowns. I'm from Texas. Lucas is up in Canada. So I just wanted, before we even broke down the movie, I wanted to break down how 2020 was for us going into the pandemic, what it was before, and pretty much just how it was going through the summer. For me, lockdown had began about May, or no, not May, March. The beginning of March. The last movie I happened to catch in theaters was the one about people being hunted, and it was a conspiracy. I forgot what that movie was called. I think it was The Hunt, but it had
Yeah,
like
something like
Hillary.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it had like Hillary Swank in it, and it was a big political big deal about it. That was the last time I had watched a movie in theater, and then the movie theater shut down, and pretty much we were told to go on lockdown, and pretty much that's how my life was upended for that part.
Uh,
What about for you?
I don't know. I just remember, yeah, I remember the virus becoming like somewhat of a thing in the news.
Yeah,
And I just heard, I'm like, I don't think it's anything to worry about. And I was looking at different online news outlets, and they're like, yeah, it's in China for now, but it
yeah,
seems to be coming west, but it doesn't seem to be that threatening. It seems to be okay. And then, like, I just remember all of a sudden, like, in every news outlet, it's like, oh, this is actually threatening a lot of people's lives.
yeah,
So, and then I remember being really scared. Like, I actually remember watching all these videos on YouTube on like how to protect yourself and how to take care of your family and what to do and what not to do. And I was like, oh my God, like we're in the middle of something that I've never experienced before. And my dad, even when he was like, in all my years, like I've never experienced something like this. So I was like,
yeah,
it felt like one of those movies. Like it felt like at the beginning, right?
yeah.
Um,
Day zero or patient zero, day one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, what were you saying? What was that?
Patient zero, like whoever
Oh,
has it, and then it's like day one. Patient zero is the person whoever is like infected,
oh, okay.
and then like day one, the first day of like spreading and all that, like a
Oh,
sci-fi
yeah.
movie.
Okay, yeah, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it starts off, small, and then it grows to be what it eventually became, right? And then, yeah, and then and you start to see it become political because this is the time when uh, Trump was he elected at the time?
It was election year in the November, so it was his last couple months going into.
Okay, so was he in office? I can't even
Yeah,
remember.
he was still in office.
Okay, so he was in. Okay, yeah, 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 and it happened. Okay, I remember. Yeah, and then and then it became a political thing as you went from like March into April and May and
Yeah,
June. It became this sort of like political battle, right? And I have people in my lives. I feel like I'm going too long, but I'll quickly say I have people in my life that are on one side politically,
yeah,
that I'm great friends with, and then
yeah,
people in my life that are on the complete opposite side politically that I'm also just as good of friends with, right? So, I feel like this movie very nicely encapsulated that war that was going on, right? And I'm not
yeah,
even American too, but Canada's heavily influenced by American culture, so yeah.
yeah. Yeah, as well as we see in the movie as well, we see a lot of digital. I had commented on your video, your breakdown of the symbolism on digital radicalization from
Mm-hmm.
both ends, because we do see a lot of like going down a rabbit hole through either conspiracy theories to certain political leanings, whether you're left or right, and people just jumping on waves and movements in the moment and feeling like they're on
Yeah,
the right side of whatever it is they're
yeah.
on. But pretty much algorithms are kind of taking over, and that's kind of also what drove. You can see the narrative in the movie, and that's also what drove 2020 as well.
Mhm.
As
No, yeah, you're right.
yeah, everybody's stuck at home. Netflix is booming because they're the only streaming service getting stuff out, video games. But social media uptake is probably at like a all record record high at the moment for 2020, given the fact that
Mhm.
everybody was home for 2 weeks and pretty much that's all they could do to entertain themselves.
Yeah. Oh, and I must add, last thing, I started this channel in the midst of that. Well, sorry, my channel. I started it in the midst of that. And that's when I met you, right? So
Oh yeah,
5 years ago, which is crazy.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I guess we could move into the movie itself, but I don't know. What did you think?
I thought the movie was pretty good. I had seen people who had seen it earlier, I think at Cannes Film Festival in Venice, saying that it wasn't good, and I've seen some people who
Mhm.
had seen it earlier saying that they thought it was bad. And I went into this like, let me give it a chance. And I actually walked out of it thinking it was really good.
Mhm.
Like it does capture the madness and the wackiness of what was going on with the BLM protests of 2020, as well as like the discourse around it, discourse between mask, no mask, 6 feet, don't break protocol. Well, we're not breaking protocol, but technically you are. The hypocrisy on both sides, the madness and the rabbit holes people are going down, and all the craziness that happened. So it was
Mhm.
pretty interesting to see, though.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think, yeah, like I was saying earlier, like I think it perfectly encapsulated both sides. Not even, I don't even want to say both sides. I want to say all sides, right? Because there's so
Yeah,
many different angles, and I think it did it from a very fair point of view,
yeah,
which I appreciate. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, yeah, and I agree. I think the movie was really good too. Like, I think it was great, and I think if you're an Ari Aster fan, you look at Hereditary and Midsommar, very similar films. Like, they're obviously different, but it's both like, familial issues,
yeah.
intergenerational trauma,
Trauma.
horror, like body horror, epic climax, and then they're horror films, right? And they almost seem like brother and sister, Hereditary and Midsommar. They're
Yeah,
like, there's so many parallels between the two, right? In terms of just what happens in the movie, right? But then also cult, right? Like the whole thing. And then
yeah,
you watch Beau is Afraid, and it's a bit of a departure. Just it kind of revolves around one guy, and there's a wider range of locations. It's trippier. It's very dreamy. It's like well, the other ones are kind of dreamy and trippy, but to another degree, to the point where I think even an Ari Aster fan at that point would be like, this doesn't really seem like an Ari Aster movie. And
yeah,
then this one is like, if you have Midsommar and Hereditary in the middle of the spectrum here, right? You have Beau is Afraid, which is on this side, and then you have Eddington. That's like, well, let's swing all the way back the reverse,
yeah,
where it's less trippy, it's way more grounded,
yeah,
and yeah, and is an even bigger departure in the opposite direction in terms of the story structure and what actually happens in the movie. Yeah, so
yeah. Like Hereditary and Midsommar and Beau's Afraid, they all feel like they would feel like a fictional story you would read to like a
mhm.
child or you wouldn't believe. Uh, whereas Eddington is something like you could scroll on social media and be like, "Whoa, that happened!" Like, "Whoa, that happened in the town." Whoa, that
Yeah, yeah,
sheriff's wife left him. Oh, okay.
yeah, because it's a period piece, which is weird because it's only 5 years ago, but
Yeah,
it's a period piece. So it's I even going into it, to be honest, I wasn't as excited because I did see the reviews, and then I saw what the movie looked like, and I'm like, oh, this is I kind of wanted something more,
yeah,
a little more surreal, right? That's what I was hoping from this director. But then, as you watch it, you're like, nah. After like half an hour, I was like, no, I'm in. I love it. I'm in. So yeah, yeah. But I guess we could go into the first, like we could go kind of chronologically, right? So
yeah. So the movie
I'll,
opens up with.
yeah, go.
Oh, you want to go?
Well, no, 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 you go.
The movie opens up with basically the homeless man walking as I guess he's entering the town of Eddington from wherever he's coming from,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
just mumbling to himself,
yeah.
some obscenities, and then we jump to our main character, Joe Cross, played by Joaquin Phoenix, who's looking up how to convince your partner to have a child.
Hmm.
And pretty much he's approached by Pueblo officers. I guess they're on the other side of the county,
Hmm.
opposite of Eddington, who are basically asking them, "Hey, you're not wearing a mask in your car,"
Hmm.
which even that seemed a bit ridiculous. Which even
Hmm.
then I'm trying to remember at the time. and they're basically having a back and forth. And then he gets a call into town that basically there's a disturbance, and the homeless man we see in the beginning is trying to enter a
Mhm.
bar owned
Mhm.
by Pedro Pascal's character,
Mhm.
who's the mayor of Eddington, and basically them kind of going into conflict. And he does. Joaquin Phoenix's character does approach him, trying to calm him down, but he's also like, "Why do you have three people in the bar? It's supposed to be 6 feet distance, and you're not supposed to be
Mhm.
open. It's supposed to be takeaway only."
Mhm.
Uh, and from there, you want to break anything down?
Yeah. Even in those first couple of scenes, like there's a lot. Like, yeah, in my video, I was saying that homeless man, he's sort of this like recurring character throughout the film, and he seems pretty insignificant at the beginning,
Yeah,
or even as it goes along. But then I feel like I don't know exactly the words he was saying, but I'm just as I'm watching the movie, I'm noticing that he's saying like there's so many thing like little things he's saying where it seems like he has I don't know, but it's almost like he's mentioning that he has issues with his family. He's like essentially like I feel like he's having these battles with himself, right?
yeah,
He's suffering from these addictions in a way where from a distance you look at him and he looks like this crazy person,
yeah.
right?
Crazy
Like he's
homeless
on all
person.
types of yeah, he's on all types of drugs and he's out of his mind in a lot of ways. But I think that the reason why he's such a recurring figure is because he kind of represents the state of mind that some of us are in as well. We're kind of in a war with ourselves, right?
Yeah,
So I think that was a great detail to kind of always have him come in and out of the movie. Yeah, uh, yeah.
yeah. So we see basically them going in conflict. He takes the homeless man down, but then the way he takes him down ends up causing a mess. He's being filmed by the mayor's son, who we don't know is the
Mhm,
mayor's son at the time.
mhm,
And basically, he just walks off and goes home. Where
mhm.
we run into the mom from Penguin. I forgot.
Yeah. Her name,
Yeah,
her character is Dawn, I think. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Dawn.
Mhm,
Dawn, who's fallen asleep to listening to conspiracy theories on her
mhm,
laptop in the background, and
mhm,
then we come to meet Joe Cross's wife, Louise, played by Emma Stone,
mhm.
who's just making her miniature artwork and on her phone, I think recording a video, or maybe she was watching something on her phone.
Yes, she was. I can't remember, but I know she was on her phone.
Yeah. Uh, I think we pretty much understand the dynamic between them. I think pretty much what ends up happening here is what I've heard from a lot of people is
Mhm,
it was only supposed their mom was or her mom was only supposed to be there for a month, and then the pandemic happens, and then it extends her stay. So now it's kind
mhm,
of adding pressure and a burden on them, which I've heard that from a lot of people. Is either they had plans to move into an apartment and then that got
mhm,
canceled by COVID, or they were going to start a
mhm,
new business and that got canceled by COVID. So to see
mhm,
that, like, oh hey, uh, it ended up being extended. She's going to be with us even longer. Like to see that, it kind of touches on like, yeah, it is very grounded and trying to be relatable to a lot of people's experiences during COVID.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
You can't help but reflect and remember what it was like for you as an individual.
yeah. Uh, from this, we're taken to the next scene. It's the next morning after, and Joe ends up going to the grocery store because I think he hears a disturbance, and there's an elderly man he knows named Joe who wants to go into grocery store, but he's not wearing a mask. And he's like, "Just let him in. What's the difference between making a mask? I'm asthmatic. I can't breathe in them. So just let him go. Do you want him to starve?" And we start to see there the kind of true nature of how some people were acting. Like either I wear a mask, you're taking away my freedom and liberties. If you don't wear a mask, we're all going to look at you like you have the bubonic plague, or you're walking
Mhm,
around like naked.
mhm,
Like that's how pretty much people are treating it. And I remember
mhm,
that's how people were treating it then. So yeah, Joe's able to go in. He's shopping. We don't see what the disturbance is that causes him to get kicked out, but he ends
mhm,
up leaving. We see
mm,
Joaquin Phoenix's character walking through the store without a mask. He comes into
mm,
contact with, I guess, one of the store owners who's like, "Hey,
mm,
there's no problem. I'm fine. I don't think it's right. I think people just want to shop. Like you
mm,
basically he's telling me this man can't breathe without his mask. Now you want him to starve and not eat groceries or get his
mm,
groceries and starve."
mm.
Uh, he ends up going into conflict with. He ends up meeting with Pedro Pascal's character again. It's Ted. That's his name, Ted Garcia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Ted. They end up having a discussion and talk where basically they go back and forth in front of people. He ends up leaving, paying for Joe's groceries, then heads back to the station. But on his way there, he stops and he just gets the idea, let me record a video and announce that I'm running for mayor.
Mm,
Uh, After that, he posts it, goes back to, or I think we see a screenshot. We see like the camera pan out from like the video, and you hear Louise and Dawn in the background, like, he announced what? So they're only
mm,
being alerted of it in that moment on Facebook. And then we see him
mm.
go back to the station. He's like, "Hey, let's start making campaigns and all this." Uh, I'm assuming this is around like Aprilish because we don't have a time like an exact date of when this is starting.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. We don't know. Yeah.
I'm assuming this is like probably
Okay.
the end of April because that's when the George Floyd protests start around
Mm.
May.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. Was it? It was May. I can't remember.
yeah, so May into
Yeah.
the summer. So
Mm,
yeah, they basically start coming up with a campaign and slogan.
mm,
On the flip side of this, we follow up with Ted Garcia, the mayor, and he's in a conference call where he's being grilled about policies as well as the big tech, uh, the big tech structure that's trying to be built in Eddington, and the fact that it's going to pollute and cause a lot more problems than it will solve anything. And basically, he's being grilled, and he's not having it. He gets
mm,
frustrated. Then he sees his son about to take one of his cars, and is like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, you're not wearing a mask. What are you doing going out to places, gathering with people? You're supposed to be uh, wearing a mask, social distancing. You're only supposed to be hanging out with one other person." So,
mm,
which also kind of points out the hypocrisy there of a lot of celebrities too during that time frame, a lot of politicians during that time frame telling people,
mm,
"Hey, you need to do this. You need a social distance. You can't have like birthday parties or anything." And then people's kids or they themselves are getting caught in scandals where they're breaking protocols, they're not wearing masks, they're at house parties, and all this. Anything you want to
yeah.
break
That's
down there?
crazy. No, it's just that no, you're right. Like Garcia's a very ironic character. Like he, of course, reflects like a few different politicians for sure. I obviously won't in my video. I didn't want to say names, so in this discussion, I won't say name. Maybe I don't know if it comes up, but I think yeah, like yeah, there are a lot of even in Canada, there are some politicians where there's definitely some irony to the things that they preach, and
Yeah,
you learn very quickly because everyone's so visible with cameras, right?
yeah,
That if anyone's not practicing what they preach, we'll find out like pretty quickly, right? So yeah, there's I think it was very fair that a character like Ted Garcia and some people that support him, it was fair that it showed sort of the ironies with him and his supporters as well. I thought it was a nice touch, I think, because it's true. It was very true at the time.
yeah. From this, I forget where we go from here. I think he goes back to the station. He talks to the two deputies. One of them, the black one, played by Michael Ward, who
Mhm,
plays Jamie in Top Boy on
mhm,
Netflix. Uh, Basically, they're coming up with campaign signs. He goes back to his wife. Yeah, he goes back to his wife. I think to announce that he's running and she's gone, and
mhm,
his mother-in-law is gone as well. And
mhm,
he picks up a phone, or he picks up her laptop, closes the video of him announcing he's running, and comes across this spiritual, motivational speaker, cult-like dude played by Austin
mhm,
Butler,
mhm,
and sees that his post about kidnappings and stuff, and sees that his wife commented.
Mm.
So then they come back, and she's trying to talk to her. She's ignoring him, goes straight to the room and locks it. And you hear muttering in the background from Dawn, her mother, and she's like, at least she has someone who actually listens to her.
Mm.
She felt safe there and all this. And then
Mm.
you see him basically trying to break down, hey, we'll talk about this at dinner.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, we go from there to, I think he goes back to the station the next morning where Ted calls him. They have that showdown where he's holding on to his cowboy hat as the
Right.
wind's blowing him. And even then, I found it funny because even in the promo that they were doing for this movie, that's the first thing you see in the trailer is him say, nope, 6 feet. You got to
Yeah,
keep
yeah, yeah, yeah,
distance,
yeah,
which is a bit funny because I guess he's trying to call out the hypocrisy there. Like, hey, you're not wearing a mask, so you got to keep six
yeah,
feet.
yeah.
But even they have a go, an exchange of words where
Mm.
basically he's like, you don't want to run for mayor against me. It's not going
Mm.
to end well. They go their
Mm.
separate ways. I think this is when we get the first. Oh, no, no, no. Actually,
Mm.
from I'm gonna rewind it back a bit. From
Mm.
his son leaving to go hang out with his friends, we see
Mm.
him trying to impress a girl named Sarah that he likes.
Mm. Mm.
Him and his friend Brian, and
Mm.
they try to impress her. Brian's looking up stuff about Black Panther, Angela Davis, and how to impress her with like just googling stuff with like surface level
Mm.
information. Whereas
Yeah. Who
Brian's
who
able to
was the writer?
Angela Davis.
Angela Day. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah. I remember seeing the book title, and then I was trying so hard to remember who it was on the cover. Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Angela Davis. Yeah.
yeah,
Because you saw the movie last night. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I just remember I was like, who was on the cover? Who was on the cover? And I was trying so hard to put in the video, but I should just. Well, you had not seen it when I was doing the video, but I should just texted you had you seen it.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, that was a nice touch. I liked how he looked at the cover of the book and then looked it up
yep,
on his phone to kind of just give the cliff notes or whatever. I love that.
yeah,
I love
yeah. And you see, like, this is supposed to be, I guess, like the younger generation or mainly millennials, Gen Z, that's online or in tune with like social politics, and he's trying to
that.
like get in tune with that and
Yeah.
find a sense of belonging, basically.
Hmm.
So he goes to her, tells her some generic cliff notes of it, and basically his
Yeah.
friend Brian or not Brian, what's his?
Is it
Oh,
Eric?
Alex. What? It's Eric. I thought it was Alex.
Which one? The
The
Can I guess his son?
yeah.
Yeah, Eric.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Eric
Yeah, yeah.
basically comes
Eric
over.
Westman.
Yeah, and makes fun of him. And basically, he has a liking towards Sarah. So basically, it's a battle of who can get the girl. And the
Yeah.
fact that I
Triangle.
think that's whenever they're at the bonfire, that's when they basically talk about how Michael used to date her,
Yeah,
and they find that out.
yeah. And that's one thing I love though. Like I have to say, like when it comes to having so many characters in a movie like this, it is long. It's like 2 hours and 30 minutes, right? But I feel
Yeah.
like it seems at first, it just seems like it's a one-on-one kind of match. And then you
Yeah.
have just a few side characters. You have Emma Stone, you have the woman from Penguin, the Dawn character, right? And then you have Ted's family. But those
Yeah.
characters just seem like, at first, they seem kind of arbitrary. Like they're just characters that exist because they are within the lives of the actual main characters. But as the movie goes along, you realize that no, every single character, no matter how much screen time they get, has like a very significant role in the movie. Not just the plot, but also the thematically, right? They all have something to say in terms of the way that the character is written. So I loved, like, I think that might be my favorite element of the movie, the fact that there's so many characters and they all represent like a different angle to look
Yeah.
through. Right? Yeah, I love, and also that, and you're mentioning this now that they're all interconnected in some way. Like
Yeah.
you could draw like a web of all the characters, right? Like you have, I won't go through every character, but essentially like you have Joaquin Phoenix, you have Pedro Pascal, right? You have those two, right? And they're
Yep.
kind of connected politically, but then you are in terms of their run for mayor. And then you have Joaquin Phoenix family. So you have Emma Stone, but then Emma Stone used to date Pedro
Yep.
Pascal, and then you have Pedro Pascal's son Eric, who's friends with Brian. But then Eric and Brian are competing to be with Sarah. But then you learn Sarah
He used to date
used to date
Michael,
Michael,
but
who
Michael's
is working for
Joaquin Phoenix's
Joaquin
character,
Phoenix,
but his
and then
dad used to work with Joaquin Phoenix, but we don't see his dad.
yeah,
But
you
there's
never
a
see his dad, and it's
connection.
assumed that he might be dead or he could still be alive. We don't know, but it's
Yeah.
like there's everything is so interconnected. There's such a web between all the characters that I found so fun, and it made the movie so much more fun as it went along. It's one of
Yeah.
those that kind of gets better and better and better, right? So yeah, I had to mention that. That was probably my biggest praise for the whole film.
Yeah. I also want to say this is one I didn't feel there were any plot holes either.
Yeah, well, maybe I don't know. Maybe a bit later on,
Yeah.
depending on. I think because this movie is very subjective. Well, Ari Aster's movie is really subjective. Um, the plot holes will depend on your interpretation of what the plot actually is. Like, I think, we'll get into it later, but I mean, like, those Antifa super soldiers that we
Yeah.
hear about, like them. You never know actually who's funding them, where they're coming from, right? But
Yeah.
it's just assumed in certain ways who could be in charge of them. So it's kind of based on that assumption. There could be plot holes, but they're never actually explicitly said. So it's kind of tough to pick out issues with the plot when purposely the plot is kind of left open for you to fill in those holes yourself. So yeah, but yeah, no, sorry, go on. And that's probably why
Yeah.
you don't feel that way, which is a good thing that you don't notice
Yeah.
that there's any sort of issues with the plot. So yeah, go
Yeah. I'm trying to remember where we go from here. He announces, he goes
on.
back, tells his wife.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and then
I
they're at
think
the
he, I,
yeah.
I think he holds a press conference at like some local restaurant. No, I think there's the first time disturbance happens. They smash up Joe's windows, and that's when basically they're like police brutality, all this, and that's when we see Michael and Sarah interact. We also see that
Mm-hmm.
basically the protesters are getting aggravated and getting in Joaquin Phoenix's character's face. He grabs one of his cell phones. He's like, "I'm trying to break this down. I'm trying to do it peacefully," and it's
Mm-hmm.
all bad optics. From
Mm-hmm.
there, we see him go to a town hall meeting he schedules that night,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and where basically he accuses Ted Garcia, Pedro Pascal's character, of doing stuff to his wife years ago,
Yeah.
and basically him having like this little epiphany breakdown speech in the town hall, and then he leaves. Then we see him go. I think it happens the next morning. He checks his phone and sees that she's retracted everything. Or no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Yeah.
After the town hall, he goes back home, cooks dinner.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be 7 or 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock is when they have dinner, I think. Because
Okay.
it's
Oh, I
almost
didn't
like
even catch that. I don't know.
I think it was like 8 o'clock. They were supposed to have dinner. It's like 9:42, and he's already like passed out asleep. And that's when
Mm-hmm.
you're introduced to Austin Butler's character in person. Because
Mm-hmm.
before we've only ever seen him on screens, on a
Yeah.
laptop, on a cell phone. This time he
Mm-hmm.
actually shows up at Joe Cross's residence,
Mm-hmm.
basically accompanied by Dawn and Louise and two other people who aren't that important. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, the way he comes off, and when we first see this character, the way I interpret it was, yeah, he's going to be like maybe some cult like personality, but maybe there's going to be some substance behind him,
Mm-hmm.
like something about him. It feels like, again, I think you pointed out he's one of those people that feeds off other people's trauma.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling them a story about how his upbringing, how he had a hard life, and how basically he's taking like his pain and stuff to help others. And it is a bit odd to see because during this exchange, I think when Louise Emma Stone's character is trying to speak up about hers, you see Dawn
Mm-hmm.
interject and say, "Nope, nope, nope. It's better to listen," or
Mm-hmm.
"No, that's it. I've had enough." And then she gets up and walks away.
Mm-hmm.
and it was a bit interesting to see that point,
Mm-hmm.
just how she interacts. Even then,
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix's face during that entire scene is perfect because he just has a look on his face like, "What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
I'm confused here." Like that is
Yeah.
absolutely perfect.
Mhm. Yeah, he's
uh,
great. The whole, yeah, like again, the interconnectedness between the characters, all their different points of view and how they react to each character. It makes perfect sense when you add up everything leading up to that point.
yeah. Uh, Pretty much bids them. Yeah, Austin Butler's character leaves. I think he like plays mind games with Joe in a bit to try and I guess psych him out or something. I don't know. He just starts rambling on about random philosophies.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
then he ends up leaving. But it was a bit interesting just to see Don's character react and say no. Because I saw somebody comment earlier on Twitter about Eddington was her character brings her daughter into like these conspiracies and in her web, but I think she
Mm-hmm.
can see through it, whereas her daughter
Mm-hmm.
gets swept up in it. Emma Stone's character gets swept up in it and ends up going off with them.
Yep.
And yeah, we see that basically they leave, but Joe's kind of like that's the guy you left to go to New Mexico or Albuquerque with.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very strange and weird.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but he's like, oh well, he actually listens to me and feeds and actually pays attention to my needs.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think they go to sleep. That's when he wakes up the next morning and sees she's gone. And then
Yep.
she retracts the statement,
Mm-hmm.
basically, and she's basically blocked Dawn. Basically, Dawn's confused, like, oh, what? Why are you trying to say that I'm the one who did this to you, or I'm the one who raised you this way? So
Mm-hmm.
she's out of the picture. Emma Stone's character's gone. We then
Yep.
see that he gets a noise complaint again from neighbors of Ted Garcia's. He goes to the
Mm-hmm.
party,
Mm-hmm.
confronts him.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they have a back and forth. He lowers the music, and Ted
Mm-hmm.
slaps him.
Yeah. What does he say before he slap? I don't know what he says before he slaps him.
I can't
No,
remember.
yeah, Joe Walking Phoenix. Like, there's something
It
that
was
he
something like
said.
your attempt at trying to take me down. Like how's it work? How's it with your wife? And trying, or yeah, your wife
Okay.
tried to take me down, or you're using your wife's pain and trauma to try and take me down. And how's that working out for
Oh,
you? Like something
oh,
along the
Ted,
lines of
Ted
that.
Garcia said that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, but then there's something else that Joe said when he before he got slapped, like he yelled something over the music, and I was trying to make out
Or
what
I
he
think
was
it was
saying.
turn it off or something like that, or
Oh
turn
yeah,
it
okay, it
down.
was that simple. Okay, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
it might have been just that simple. Okay, yeah, but it was
Yeah.
some of these. You know what? When I do my analysis videos, I don't go as much into the scenes that just entertain me, like the scenes that I just found just funny, right? And or just in some way, I don't know. But I have to say that when he got slapped, because he got slapped twice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got slapped first, but then he got slapped again, and his glasses were down.
Yeah.
I don't know, I always find that so. I found that hilarious. This movie's like it's funny because it's said to be like comedy, right? Like it's
Yeah.
described as
Black
a
comedy.
dark, yeah, like exactly a black comedy, right? And um, at the beginning, I was like, this is for the first like maybe 20 minutes. I'm like, I don't know if this is that funny. Like, I'm not understanding how it's a comedy. But yeah, as it goes along, like, there's so many little moments, like, especially when you figure out how ridiculous some of these characters are. It's just hilarious. Like, at first, Ted Garcia seems like just this very, civilized, kind of
Yeah.
normal, regular guy that means well. But as the movie goes along, you realize how like preposterous some of the things that he does are, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and then of course Joe is like goofy in so many different ways. Yeah, and we'll get into it later, but there are just so many moments. I can't even pick them out, but there were a lot of moments that just had me chuckling and had the theater, like everyone around me just some people were just dying. Like some people were just like cracking up the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, it is a comedy. Yeah, no, I just had to make sure I highlighted that because in my video I didn't say anything about it. It was a big part of the experience, definitely.
Yeah, and during this exchange, Katy Perry's "Fireworks" is playing off in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
background.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like that. It's just I don't know. It's not like a typical comedy where you just get these sort of punchlines, right?
Yeah,
It's like it's just the subtlety and like the context and the circumstances. You're just like, oh my god, this is so bad. This is such a stupid. Oh, it's like it's embarrassing. You almost feel embarrassed,
yeah.
which I think is great. So
Because
yeah,
everybody, the minute he slaps him, everybody just goes quiet and just like doesn't say anything.
yeah, exactly. It's like I just feel you feel like humiliated kind of. You're like, oh
Yeah.
my, what are we doing, right? But that's the point, right? So yeah, mission accomplished by Ari Aster for sure.
From this, he leaves. And you can tell he's pissed off. Like
Mhm.
he just drives away, goes back to the station. I think there's another protest. That's where Sarah's like, Michael, come on, I know you know this isn't right. Or
Mhm.
I think this is when they find out about more about the George Floyd case,
Mhm.
and there's more protests. And he's like, yeah, you know this isn't right. I'm white, I'm privileged, I can't like all those
Mhm.
punchlines and stuff just made me laugh.
Yeah, the Sarah.
No,
You're talking about Sarah, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny. Like there's so many buzzwords that she uses that we see online all the time. And I think it's like it's fun. Yeah, it's like it's kind of sad in one way because you're like, oh, like there's so much innocence, right?
yeah,
And but at the same time, yeah, it comes off like goofy. But it's like but you can tell it makes her emotional because it's kind of this cry for help to him who actually has the perspective that she wishes she had, right?
yeah,
That she'll never have because she's white, right? So it's like this desperate cry for help from such a privileged position, which I find it's funny, but it's like also ironic in a kind of sad way. So I'm realizing as I talk to you that there's so many moments that I really appreciate. Yeah, go on.
uh, yeah. From that, he drives off. Another protest happens. That's when everyone starts going crazy, and then everyone just drops dead, or not drops dead, but plays dead in the streets to
Mhm.
cause even more disruption. That's when Brian pulls out his phone and gets a picture from Eric, who sends him a picture of him making out with
Yeah,
Sarah.
yeah.
So then he sends that picture over to Michael. Michael ends up seeing it, and then we cut to back to the Garcia household,
Mm,
and we see Pedro Pascal's watching the news. He's seeing
mhm,
more of the protests on TV, and then he notices Sarah's bag. And then he
mhm,
calls Eric. He's like, Eric, what's this girl's? Or didn't I tell you to not mess around with that girl or bring anybody into the house? He's
mhm.
like, what bag? And then poof, you just hear
Yeah,
and just a bullet flies through and kills
I
Pedro Pascal's character. Which I'm like,
y- yeah, yeah. You did not see that coming.
and
I
then
did
from
not
that
see that coming.
and from that I thought the scene was just gonna like cut. I thought like the
Mhm,
son's gonna come out and be
mhm,
like, Dad, no, and then it's just gonna cut
mhm,
to the next scene, and then
mhm,
he gets closer and you look in the background, you see just a
mhm,
flash, and then a second
mhm.
shot rings out.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
And
then
then he gets
another
closer.
shot hits again, and then he kills
Yeah,
the son,
Eric.
which
Yeah,
most people there was a gasp. There was like, in the theater.
yeah,
I was like, whoa, I can't believe this
yeah,
happened. And
yeah.
then we're shown who fired the bullet. And I'm
Mhm,
thinking it might have been Michael, but he might have killed the dad on accident. And then
mhm.
he pulls out and it's Joaquin Phoenix's character, Joe
Yeah,
Cross.
yeah,
And I was like,
yeah, yeah.
wow. And then we see him
Um,
pick up the shelling, so not to leave behind any evidence. We see him walk all the way down or drive all the way down to the house to make sure to pick up the evidence and then plant evidence as well. Or no, no, no. Before even that happens, he
mhm,
gets a call, or he heads after getting slapped. He heads back into town and goes to the bar where the
mhm,
homeless man is.
mhm,
And in that, I guess he's just looking at him. Whenever
mhm,
the homeless man's going through the alcohol, he's like poison. Like he starts to mutter to himself, but I did notice he
mhm,
said that
mhm, mhm,
poison. I'll poison
mhm.
you. or I'll
Yeah,
poison
yeah, yeah,
myself, like something like
yeah,
that. And I was like, huh. And then
yeah,
Joaquin Phoenix's Joe Cross basically guns him down.
yeah.
And
But
then
he shoots him first, no? Does he shoot the homeless guy before he shoots?
yes,
Right? Okay, yeah, you're going back. Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
he
that makes
shoots him, closes the blinds, turns off the lights, and then hides and dumps the body in the river.
mhm.
And then he goes, and then we head back to the Garcia house where they're murdered by Joaquin Phoenix's character.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I found that good. I liked how he kills the homeless man first because it kind of gives him it's like it's almost like that concept of like you can't kill someone not because you don't want to but because you literally can't, like you don't have the will to do it, like
Yeah,
you just couldn't do it. But by killing that guy first, because he's homeless and drug addicted, like in society we kind of look down upon these kinds of people, right? So
yeah,
it's like it's kind of easy, we kind of ignore them, so they're a little less significant to a lot of people. So when he sees him and he's causing so much havoc in this bar, and that Joaquin Phoenix already feels so betrayed by the world. He's like,
yeah,
I'm just gonna waste this guy. Like I don't even care, right? Like
yeah,
I'll get rid of him. It doesn't matter, and it makes perfect sense because that's kind of when it comes to society. When these people die, they die every day, right? Like
yeah,
these kinds of people, we just they'll be sleeping on the street. Let's walk over them, right? And
yeah,
it's like, yeah. So that it makes perfect sense that this being sort of like an observation on society, it makes sense that that would be the guy that he is kind of, it's like the first step, that hump that he needs to get over that allows him
yeah,
to be like, okay, I can kill someone that I just want to kill, that I
yeah,
shouldn't. I just want to do it, right? And then from there, he's like, oh, it's not too bad. Like, okay, he got his feet wet. So now he's like, okay, I'll go to the mayor's house and take him out and take out his son too, because I don't care anymore. I'll do it. Which
yeah.
I thought was great. I thought that was great.
And then he picks up a souvenir that's given to him earlier. Joe Cross' character picks up a souvenir that was given to the mayor earlier, and he puts it in his pocket, which is later used.
Mm-hmm.
Next morning, I think he heads back, and then he's given a call again to come down to the house. It's a call from his neighbors that basically found the body of the mayor and his son. During this time, he's able to plant evidence on his young deputy,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and he's able to convince the other officer that works with them that basically maybe he had did it, or no, the other officer is basically convincing Joe that that Michael's character did it. So
Mm-hmm.
he was able to plant evidence by planting the locket that was given to him earlier into his car.
Mm-hmm.
They also
Yeah.
know that he checked out a rifle, given the fact that he was bragging about his sniper shot score earlier in the film. So they're able to
Mm-hmm.
use that. And
Mm-hmm.
as well as the fact that we see one of the deputy detectives from the other side of the county on native
Mm-hmm.
land basically come and assist with the examination and investigation as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you see him; he's just a looming presence in the background. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally, as soon as like we get from discovering the bodies, he's just a looming presence until the
Mm-hmm.
end of the
Yeah.
film, basically.
Yeah, great. It's such a nice touch, like such an awesome character to add to the film.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
looming in the background, which like is making Joaquin Phoenix's character nervous all the time.
Yeah. You feel it. You're like, because I think there is, of course, Joaquin Phoenix he's become this awful person, but of course, there's circumstances that have led him to make decisions like this, where he's killing people. But you're still, as a character, you still have some empathy for him. Like at least I do, right? Like I'm like, this guy is he's been destroyed. He's destroyed himself. He's killing people. So when you
Yeah,
see him come in, it's like, okay, we have the bad guy who's the like Joaquin Phoenix's character, Joe. He's the bad guy, but he's also the guy we've been following the whole time for the
yeah,
hour that this movie's been going on. So now we have this guy who's like an antagonist, but he's actually like one of the most heroic characters in the whole movie.
yeah,
So you're like, you feel the threat of him because he's, like you said, he's kind of this looming presence along the sort of the final act of the movie, which I thought was great because you're rooting for him to get Joe before Joe frames Michael,
yeah,
but you see him from the angle of being a bad guy to our protagonist who's Joe Cross, which I love. I love when movies do that. I love when they kind of put you in the perspective of the character who's the most awful. Kind of like it reminded me a lot of oh my god, what's the film called? Killing of a Sacred. No, not Killing of a Sacred. Killers of the
Killers
Flower
of the
Moon.
Flower Moon. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
and it's the actor's from that movie too.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
is, yeah. Check the cast, and he's from that movie as well. So I was like, yeah, it reminds me, like, because you're following DiCaprio for so long,
yep,
and then and even the lead character, Joe Cross, reminds me of DiCaprio's character in Killers of the Flower Moon. He's
yeah.
like this. It's so stupid. It's like, why are you making these stupid decisions, right? And he makes impulsive decisions, and he's easily swayed by the wrong people, right? And you look at him, like I look at DiCaprio's character and Joe Cross and Joaquin Phoenix's character. They're like they do these awful things. They're of course they're criminals, right? But also in a very big way, they're victims, right? Like
Yeah,
they're victims of almost their own stupidity and the people around them that can easily manipulate them. In this movie's case, the internet. In DiCaprio's case, De Niro, right?
De Niro.
Yeah, so it's like you kind of empathize with them because you're like, oh, they've been just what's the word? They've been corrupted, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's I think it's I love when movies do that. I love when movies take a bad guy and kind of show how they've become this victim, but also this this threat to the world, right? I think it's great. It's great. And
yeah,
then when
but
the hero comes in, what's his name? Sorry, I am rambling, but I just want to also say, then when the hero comes in, what's his name? What's that actor? He kind of looks like Matt Damon a bit.
uh,
He's in every movie. Um, I
don't
forget.
know, but I know who it is.
Yeah, well, I'll look it up because I know my family's watching. They're probably gonna be like, "Oh my god, this is." Here,
Uh,
one sec.
yeah. It was the dude with the American. What kind of American are you in Civil War?
What's that actor called? Jesse
Civil-
Plemons.
yes,
Yeah.
Jesse
So
Plemons.
yeah. So I love Jesse. He's so good. So Jesse Plemons, when he shows up, you're rooting for Jesse Plemons because you're like, oh, he's gonna take him out. Like he's gonna get him. He's gonna
Yeah,
get DiCaprio. But you've been following DiCaprio for so long. So this is exact same. I noticed like I was thinking of that movie when I was watching this one. And there's a lot of parallels. I think it's great. Both movies I really like. So yeah. Anyway, go on.
basically, the other deputy comes in to help investigate. They hold a press conference where basically he says it's Antifa and BLM that are behind this. And as again another scene where as we're seeing the press conference play out on TV or screen, it pans out and we're seeing a plane carrying people in military fatigue doing push-ups and sit-ups, and we're seeing a private jet plane fly as they're on their way, and we don't see who these people are, which I thought they were going to reveal them later. But we're seeing that plane where you're like, we don't know it yet, but they'll play a factor later on in the movie.
Yeah.
From there, basically they go back to the station. One of the what's the other deputy's name?
Guy.
Oh, Guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Guy's basically convincing them like, hey, it might be Michael, or no, they're looking at the evidence. Brian comes into the office, comes into the station. He's been there waiting to give a confession. They go through his phone, see that he sent a photo to Michael, which leads a Guy to basically assume that Michael is behind it. They go to Sarah and get her information. Your bag's there. You might be tied to this somehow, some way. Did you do it to get back at your ex? Is this what's going on? They then go to Michael, go through his phone, see that he got a message of the photo, assume it's him, go through his car, see that he has a rifle that he's checked out, which they say is protocol. But then Joaquin Phoenix's character opens up the glove and sees the locket that the mayor had earlier that basically he planted on him, but Michael doesn't know that it was planted there. And so they basically put him under arrest. While this is going on, the other Native American officers is watching. He also, even when they're at the mayor's office or mayor's house, he looks at the ground and notices tire tracks. While they're outside going through Michael's stuff, he looks at Joe's tire tracks again. He notices a pattern. They
Mm-hmm.
put Michael into a cell, give him a phone call, and then he looks up at the board and notices a certain way of handwriting. And that
Yeah,
immediately,
I love that.
that
Oh my god.
which I found that to be a bit odd because I didn't get it how he just knew to make that connection.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, no, yeah, but I immediately was like, oh, that's such a good touch. I love that, just that moment when he looks at it and he's like, and he starts running.
Yeah, he just takes off at a full sprint back to his truck, and Joaquin
Yeah,
Phoenix is like, "Wait, what?" And so he goes to follow
yeah.
him. Notices that basically the officer's heading to his home. He
Mm-hmm.
parks on another hill opposite of it and looks at binoculars. But Dawn, being how crazy and out of her mind she is, has no clue what the
Mm-hmm.
officer's saying. So
Mm-hmm.
he leaves. Uh, Basically, he heads back to the station. It's nighttime. He's getting a call from Guy that basically Michael's broken out and they have to look for him. They
Mm-hmm.
come across him in a field,
Mm-hmm.
but we see that he's far away and there's a drone over, and
Mm-hmm.
Michael's basically signaling for them to leave.
Mm-hmm.
They approach him. It explodes.
Yeah,
I thought Michael had died in that explosion, but
I know.
surprisingly he
Well, yeah.
survived. Uh,
Yeah, I was like, he has to survive. I felt like there's more to his character to be resolved or to be uncovered. So I was like, I think he'll get through this one. I figured Guy would go. If anyone was going to go, it'd be Guy.
Yeah, Guy. Yeah, Michael's injured. Guy basically is killed in the explosion. Walking Phoenix is disoriented
Mm-hmm.
and immediately grabs a gun, shoots the drone out. Notices someone in like not far away from him, shoots at him, and then picks up his phone. And then we see basically that this is a group that Antifa, or that we're seeing footage of on Facebook and
Mm-hmm.
uh, certain echo chambers and in groups, that they're basically behind a lot of these false flag
Mm-hmm.
operations on police to drum up chaos. So basically, agents of chaos,
Mm-hmm.
ones that will be at protests, smashing up windows when everything's going peaceful to cause violence and stuff. So basically, provocateurs or paid
Yeah,
agitators, basically.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And you never know who. Like, and I love the touch. I love the fact that you don't. It's not completely spelled out where they're coming from. Like, who's
yeah,
funding this? Who bought the plane? Like, like, why? How? Right? And I
yeah,
like that you don't have the answer.
yeah. And
Yeah.
we don't know who these guys are funded by, but he shoots one of them, picks up his phone, sees the video footage of them behind all this stuff being filmed, to cause like fear and panic and all this. And then someone else starts shooting at Walking Phoenix, so he takes off running at a full sprint. I was thinking, does he go back to his home? Or yes, he goes back to his home.
Mm-hmm.
He notices a taxi outside. He's thinking Luis is back,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought too, because I'm like, okay, the taxi's there. Maybe she came to get her stuff. He's going to try and save her. But
Yeah.
then we see her in the darkness, and we see Joaquin Phoenix saying, "Look, I've given all I have. I'm broken." And then he wipes his face like 3 times, and on the third time he wipes it, it goes back to being Dawn. That's just
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Who is kind of just like, well, she's left, she's gone, she's blocked us, she's moved on with her life. And then a
Yeah.
sniper bullet rings out, and Joaquin Phoenix drops, gets her to safety. He goes out to
Mm-hmm.
the taxi to try and drive the car, but notices the driver's now been shot and
Yeah.
killed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he takes off running towards the town. Uh, Sniper fire's ringing out. He's able to get into an ammo store, arm himself with guns, and just starts coming out shooting. And
Mm-hmm.
amongst all the shooting and chaos, the officer we see earlier, the detective from the other side of the county, comes running up to try and help and see what's wrong, and he gets shot
Mm-hmm.
by Walking Phoenix accidentally in friendly fire. And then when
Yeah.
he goes to help him up and move him again, he's then shot by a sniper bullet by one of the outside forces.
Yeah. In the head.
Yeah, in the head. Walking Phoenix shoots one of them and then runs
Mm-hmm.
out of ammo on the last dude, who then charges at him, stabs him twice in the head with the knife. And as he's about to finish him off, Brian, who's happened to hear this earlier, he noticed
Mm-hmm.
Walking Phoenix running and wheezing from like way far away,
Mm-hmm.
grabs his gun and his cell phone at the same time, almost like kind of
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
video game like, and shoots at the dude, and is able to save him. Because at first I thought like all the bullets were gonna miss and he's about to just kill him, but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
hits
Yeah.
him,
Mm,
saving the sheriff's life. He's given
mm-hmm.
pretty much like podcast deals. He's meeting with
Mm,
politicians.
yeah.
He's now in a relationship. Like he's
Mm,
basically gone from being like this outsider wanting to belong to now
yeah.
being pushed into stardom. He's on TikTok. He's
Mm,
TikTok famous. He's
mm,
YouTube, podcasts, all this, and now he's like
mhm,
basically risen up the social media ladder. From
mhm.
this, Joe's able to
Zero
survive.
to hero.
Yeah, zero to hero.
Uh,
Joe's able to go from basically this once promising figure wanting to serve his community, wanting to serve his town, do the right thing, to now
mm,
being a puppet, vegetative state,
mm,
uh, now mayor, but not the way he wanted it to go. His
mm,
mother-in-law is now taking over, basically
mm,
being the one to run the show.
mhm,
The AI tech company in the beginning that
mhm,
pretty much they said was a threat and that's going to be causing all these problems is now ushered in and welcomed into the town now
mhm,
because of all these events that have happened. We see basically Michael's still alive, practicing his shooting, and then we see Austin Butler's character giving a speech. Now he's grown more popular. He's now on YouTube. There's a 9-minute
mhm,
video of him. Uh,
mhm.
so you can say he's expanding himself as well. And as
Yep.
well as the fact that we have Luis in the background, now
Mm,
pregnant. And I think she
yep.
had tattoos on her. Like she's completely different now.
I didn't even catch that. Oh
Because
wow.
that's what I noticed on her chest is like, that's not like extra clothes because she has on like a dress type thing, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this is
yeah.
open and you can see like markings. So it's like, yeah, she's tatted up. It's a completely different person
Like
now.
him, because he's tatted too.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, it's a good touch. I didn't catch that.
Yeah. So now
Mm,
basically this cult like personality that's emerged from the pandemic, like the
mm,
2020 era, where I would assume this is maybe like going into 2021 now. Because I think,
yeah,
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 that's when
yeah,
TikTok starts
yeah.
to blow up even bigger.
Mm,
So, yeah, now he's basically started to grow more into a cult like personality. He now has
mm,
Luis by his side, who's visibly pregnant. So, yeah, this is,
mhm.
yeah, it's at least like a couple months into 2021.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, basically, they have a caretaker taking care of Joe.
Mhm,
Uh, basically Dawn and Joe basically find that out through watching the video that Luis is pregnant. They both break
mhm,
down crying.
mhm,
Where Joe needs his inhaler. He can only move his
mhm,
right arm, or he can only move his right arm.
mhm,
He's complete vegetative state.
mhm,
The caretaker also lives with them. I think she's in a relationship with the mom.
mhm.
That's what I
Yeah,
took away from
yeah.
the scene.
A boy
uh,
toy. Cause
yeah,
yeah, she's in a happy relationship now, and she's way more sane.
yeah,
She's way more in her right mind now. Like of course, she still believes in those theories and stuff, but the way
yeah,
that she's way more coherent, I guess you could probably say,
yeah.
right? And happier clearly because she's with that guy, that nurse. So I don't know if it's just sexual or if it's romantic, but it's um, it's a yeah, it was interesting. I think some people on my video were commenting, or one person at least, saying that they think that Dawn is smarter than we actually think
Oh,
at first,
yeah,
right? And I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
it might be fair. It might be. There
yeah.
might be some Game of Thrones kind of going on. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Usual
yeah, yeah,
suspects ending.
that's a fair. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a usual suspects kind of thing where you think she's a little more, a little less equipped than she truly is, as we realize
Yeah.
at the end. Fair point. I was like, that's a good comment. Fair point. Yeah, I
Uh,
like that.
the, the last shot of the film we see is Michael practicing his target shooting, and we
Mm,
see basically the tech company's logo lights up, and the camera
mm,
pans out, pretty much showing that
mm,
like in the end the tech company ends up moving into the town
mm.
and winning basically,
Yeah.
and that's basically how the movie ends. And so far from what I've seen, most people just seem to be like pretty. pretty much divided. Not saying they either hate it or don't like it, but just divided in terms of what its messaging is or what its
Mm,
plot is supposed to be, who's like
mhm,
being represented politically, like what side is it. But like you said in the beginning,
mm,
it's pretty much showing all sides of the madness of what 2020 was. Even
mm,
like the funniest thing was even after the vigil, when they're holding the vigil for the son and the father at
mhm.
that little gazebo spot, the dude's like, he was taken down, but it's my privilege here as a white person that I'm not even supposed to be up here speaking right now. I was just
Um,
like, bro, that seems hilarious.
that was hilarious. He didn't. Yeah, it's like so. It's like there's like this saying or something. I swear, I think someone commented this and I read. I was like, oh, it's a great point. Not on this video, like a long time ago, and they said sometimes when you put in so much effort, it's like a circle, right? When you put in so much effort to become to do something a certain way, you go so far that
Yeah,
you end up back to where you were in the first place, where you actually end up doing nothing, right?
yeah,
Or you end up pushing back the opposite way that you were trying to push in the first place.
yeah,
And that this a lot of for a lot of these characters, I think with Sarah a little bit, and I think definitely with Brian, that's a huge part of it. There's a massive irony to those characters, right?
yeah,
Um, because they're young and they're naive, right? And it's just amplified by this style of filmmaking, right? Where they're sort of caricatured a little bit, but not even that much to where there are people I've met in person that are kind of like some of these guys. So it's just yeah, it's great. I thought that was and my theater was just it wasn't full. I was at a really early screening, so it was not full, but there were a lot of people that were just eating it up. The funny parts of it, just eating it up.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because from the beginning, you're thinking it's just going to be a simple, oh, back and forth freedom
Mm,
versus like having to wear a mask. It's going to be over mask, lockdown, all this. Like things are going to get into this, and then it like first half of the movie felt that way, and then it goes completely different
mhm.
way, and it ends
Yeah.
up dealing with like more than just like freedom or the lockdowns. It deals with trauma, it deals with family, it deals
Mhm,
with interpersonal relationships, as we see from
mhm,
Brian to Sarah to Eric to Michael to now
mhm,
dealing with Joe to
mhm,
Ted to this person. It's like all
mhm.
connected into like a basically a spider web if you really
Yeah,
think about it.
exactly. That's exactly how you would describe it. It's like a big spider web of opinions and angles. And I loved it. I love the complexity of it. I love how convoluted it was. And when I say convoluted, I mean that usually people use it in a negative way, but I mean it in a positive way in this case. Like I love how it was just everywhere. But by the end, you kind of have a really clear idea of what it's trying to say. And its message isn't, it's definitely not anything that's so profound where you're
Yeah,
like, oh, Ari Aster came up with the answer that
yeah,
everyone's been trying to figure out for years at this point. But it's just kind of like a good bird's eye view where and then you can kind of even look at yourself in that bird's eye view because along the spectrum you land somewhere along there politically, right? So I thought it was yeah, I thought the movie was great.
yeah. It's reading earlier. You said he's going to be coming up with like a sequel, maybe. Yes,
Really?
Ari Aster says he's developing a sort of a sequel to Eddington. It's not really a sequel, but there are returning characters.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. Maybe like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood kind of sequel
Yeah,
that they do. Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm sure
Yeah,
that's
it's like
probably.
mm, go on.
I was gonna say I'm sure that's probably gonna be like his second movie because he did say he wants to go back to horror for like his next actual
Mm,
film. He wants to go back to
yeah,
horror.
yeah. Yeah, I'm sure people are thirsting for some Aria. Because Beau is Afraid it had elements of horror, but it wasn't that much of a horror movie, I would say.
Yeah,
And then this one is clearly not a horror film. But like yeah, and I'm sure because everyone who fell in love with him, they fell in love with him with Hereditary and Midsommar, right?
yeah. Well,
So I think it's
he also released a short film called "The Strange Thing About the Johnsons," which is about like
what's it called?
family abuse. The Strange Thing About the Johnsons.
The Shrinks Think About the Johnsons.
The Strange Thing.
The Strange Thing About the Johnsons.
Yes, like that's the one that kind of like put his name out there originally.
Oh,
Then
is it
Hereditary.
really?
Yeah.
Wow, is it a feature length?
It's like 16 minutes, 20 minutes.
Oh, 30 minutes,
Oh, 30
29
minutes.
minutes. I see. I'm looking at it right now. Wow, I didn't even know that. Oh my God. Okay, it's not feature length, but uh, I'll see if I can get my hands on it and see if I can watch it. That'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to see kind of where this style originated from, at the earliest
Yeah,
point. That'd be,
yeah,
yeah, I'll check that out. I had no idea. So, no, yeah, overall, I thought the movie was really fascinating, really fun. And I'm glad it was. I don't like going into political movies. I'm very reluctant
yeah,
with them because sometimes they're like, it's just kind of preaching, or it's like really obvious. It's like, yeah, we already know this. Like, but I think with this, it was not. It was kind of stuff that a lot of stuff that I'm familiar with. Like, I'm like, yeah, there's different sides. We're a bit ridiculous, but I think it took on this conversation in a fun way and in a very reflective way that allows you to kind of look at yourself and the people around you and just kind of I don't know, just reflect. I guess that's all I'm really saying. It allows
yeah,
you to reflect, yeah, in a way that's not like depressing or devastating or frustrating,
yeah,
right? So I like, yeah. So overall, good movie. Like, Ari Aster is 4 for 4 for me, and I was really unsure if I'd be saying that going in. I was like, this might be the one that I'm like that I'm not on board, but no, he's 4 for 4.
yeah. And this one, because some people, because again, too, thinking like, I thought this movie would be pretty divisive, but I'm like, meh, it's not really. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like if he had taken on Civil War and Alex Garland had like swapped, I wonder how
Mm.
it would have come out. Given the fact that Alex Garland's a British and like he maybe could have
Mm.
handled it from like a Brit standpoint of like how lockdowns went there. Ari Aster's American. How would he have handled Civil War?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I know you're right. The two movies that I thought of were Civil War and Killers of the Flower Moon. Um, Civil War, definitely. And even listening to, because I didn't do a video I don't think I did a video on Civil War, but I wrote one. I just never uploaded it because I don't know. I can't remember why, but I was writing one and I was doing a lot of research. And I realized that like with Alex Garland's interviews, those interviews with him talking about Civil War, there's a lot of parallel with the interviews that I watched with Ari Aster on the press tour for this film. So yeah, the fact you bring it up makes complete sense. Both, and I appreciate. So I think Civil War is great. So yeah, I'm glad I watched this. I knew I was going to, obviously, but it's a great movie. He's 4 for 4. Whatever he does next, I don't care if it's whatever genre at this point. He's great.
Yeah, I was gonna say this, what A24 is 2 out of 4 this year for me.
Is this A24? This one?
Yeah, it's A24.
Okay, so he's all his movies so far have been
Yeah,
A24.
A24.
Like the four of them. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like four
Um,
movies released this year have been A24, and this is one of them. This is
what are
like the
the
second one: Friendship,
what's the
Opus, and then Death of a Unicorn.
Okay, I didn't see Opus. Or sorry, I didn't see Friendship. I saw Opus. I saw Death of a Unicorn. Wasn't crazy about that. Did you like Opus?
I thought it was okay. I didn't really like it. I like John Malkovich. I like the music, but other than that, it was
Yeah.
like, forgettable. Death
Yeah,
of a
it felt like
Unicorn.
yeah, Death of a Unicorn. What did you think?
Death of a Unicorn felt like they were trying to touch on like the pharmaceutical industry and all that. Like they were trying to
Mm-hmm.
make a message about it, but it just went away and completely off the rails to crazy animal, like fantasy horror, like comedy type stuff.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. Like I think it's topical. Death of a Unicorn is definitely topical, but not with the detail and the nuance that
Yeah,
a movie like this has, right?
yeah,
It's so surface level. There's such a limited number of characters, and none of them are that complex. And it is satirical. Like there's a comedic element, definitely,
yeah,
but not in the way, like not with the subtlety that this movie has, and the complexity that this movie has. I think it really show. I don't know who directed and wrote Death of a Unicorn, but I think those are good movies. If you're doing like a movie class to kind of see the
yeah,
difference between a modern topical film in 2025 that does a great job with its complexity versus one that's much more simple and doesn't really achieve too much. So, yeah, I think yeah, it makes me appreciate this movie even more. I'll watch it again. I'm going to. I don't know if I'll go
yeah.
back to the theater, but I will see it again for sure. Maybe I'll watch it with my mom because she likes watching those, like she likes thrillers. and she likes horror, and she likes talking politics.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a good one for her to see for sure.
Yeah. Well, that is our spoiler analysis discussion. Be sure to leave your comments down below if you've seen the movie. If you plan on seeing it, what do you think of it? What are your thoughts? Let us know all that down below. Be sure to catch you guys on the next spoiler discussion. Peace.
Peace out.